Good evening, everyone. This is Kelly with Horizons Unlimited Scuba. I want to talk about the incident that's happened in the Maldives and the lives that were lost. Our condolences go out to the victims and the families. It's a tragic accident that should have never happened, in my opinion. Now, of course, we will never know, probably. At least right now, it's all speculation and guessing. But we see a lot of rumors on the internet going around, some things that I don't see feasible or possible. So I wanted to do this video to kind of share some things with you on a theory that I believe, or theories that I believe are quite possible to what happened in this incident. One of the first things we talk about is the tanks they had and the air in the tanks. We've seen people come out and say, they were diving what we call nitrox, which is an enriched air that's got a higher content of oxygen in it. Our oxygen we breathe is typically about 21%. Most of what we breathe is nitrogen. It's about 78%, and then we've got some, minute other little gases mixed in there. So on air, we're able to go deeper than we are on enriched air, nitrox. So I don't believe, with the entrance of this cave being at about 50 meters, which is about 150-60 feet, that the crew, the divers that went in, with the experience of those divers, would have ever planned to go to that depth on nitrox. So I kind of take that out of the equation of an oxygen toxicity, because that's the partial pressure of oxygen would be such on nitrox gas that oxygen toxicity could be in effect. That wouldn't happen on regular air at those depths. So when I saw the layout of the cave in the diagrams, the cave is a tunnel that goes through from an opening at depth in the ocean. And I'm sure there are other openings throughout the cave that let water flow. So once currents start moving, we can get what we call a Venturi effect. So my guess is the divers were on the dive and they wanted to go see this cave. I don't know if they ever intended to go in the cave, unless maybe they just thought they were going to go in the entrance and look around and come back out. That's mistake number 2, because going to that depth was mistake number 1. And if there was a Venturi effect happening, it's very possible that 1, 2, all of those divers kind of got sucked into the cave by that Venturi effect current running through there. So maybe 1 got in, 2 went in, and others went in trying to rescue or help them. Once they get into that cave, there's a lot that could happen just there at the opening. Caves often have residue or silt, and so it's very easy that they could have stirred up the bottom, or just even sand in there, that's soft sand that's flown into the cave. But it can be stirred up where you lose sight and you can't see the opening anymore. And we have a term that we call nitrogen narcosis, that at 160 feet, anyone that goes to 160 feet is going to experience some nitrogen narcosis. And that is an effect, it's kind of like a drunken effect. It can certainly impair your judgment, will impair your judgment. And it's a good chance that had something to do with the accident. Again, we may never know. So once they got to the entrance of the cave, whether they went in to see inside or whether they got sucked in by the current, I'm sure their judgment was very impaired by the nitrogen narcosis they were experiencing. If it got silted out, they couldn't find the entrance, they couldn't find the opening. And in trying to do so, it's very possible they were panicked, they were narked out, as we call it, trying to find their way out, and in doing that, they were just going deeper in. That's kind of what I believe happened, and by the time they're watching their air, seeing their air deplete, and the panic's going on, a very horrible situation. So, narcosis was, I'm sure, a factor. I don't think oxygen toxicity would have been a factor. And then we had the incident with the rescue diver. In the Maldives, it is not legal to dive more than 100 feet. If you do that, it's going to take some special permits to be allowed. Now, there's no police out there or underwater to say, hey, you got to stop at this depth. So going beyond that depth is not only illegal, but it's a very poor judgment. So I believe they decided probably to go check out the entrance to the cave. And like I say, maybe just go in the entrance. So when the rescue diver went down, since the laws in the Maldives don't allow you to go more than 100 feet, it's pretty likely if this rescuer was from the Maldives that he didn't have a lot of experience in technical diving and going beyond those recreational depths. He perished due to decompression sickness, which is excessive nitrogen building up in your system and not being released properly. So when you hear of divers doing decompression, that's what they have to do. They have to release this gas of nitrogen because it gets saturated into your tissues. So it's got to be released slowly. And if it's not, now we have the cause of decompression sickness, which is what that diver perished from. And unfortunately, it very well may have been his lack of experience at those depths, and probably should have never attempted the rescue. So I just want to come and explain these things to those of you that follow us, that are divers, that are non-divers, friends and family. Because again, we may never know the true cause of what happened or why they were where they were at. And it is a tragedy. We are in a safe sport that we can take unsafe risk. And I believe that's what happened here. I think they took some unsafe risk, and they paid for it with their lives, unfortunately. If you have questions about these comments I've made or things I've said, and you want some clarification or want some understanding, reach out to us. We love our dive family. We love our non-divers. And we want to keep our sport safe, and we want to keep a good reputation on the sport. We don't want to get a bad name because of misinformation getting out there. And unfortunately, this is an event that happened. Hopefully we'll find out more details. Hopefully they'll be able to get the information off their dive computers. And I believe I heard they found some GoPros. But wanted to come to you with this. I hope you all have a great evening, and thank you for listening.